Guruve Gaura Chandaya Radhikaya Tadali Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Anga Shamalinga Chatabi Abhito Mandi Kratendi Varam Jaram Jaguta Rachasam Pattam Parasasya Sriyam Brindaranya Nivasinam Ridita Saddama Vyamodaram Radhaskanda Niveshita Ujvala Pujam Dhyayam Damodaram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So first of all I offer pranams to our Gurudev, Vishnu Padre Swami Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Lotus Feet of our Shiksha Gurus, Nitya Lila Parishri, Gaur Govinda Goswami Maharaj, Shri Bhaktivedanta, Madhusudan Goswami Maharaj, all Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, thank you for coming. Try to stay awake. So, I think tomorrow is the disappearance of one great Vaishnav, Sri Akincana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, Tirubav. So a little speak about him, because tomorrow we will not have chance. And then we can speak a little bit about Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So Vaishnava Gunagan Jivera Hoilo Trans Suneyachi Sadhguru Mukhi. By hearing the qualities and speaking the qualities of the Vaishnavas, the jivas easily cross over both birth and death. Suneyachi Sadhguru. I have heard from the mouth of Guru Vaishnavas, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So this is very much important, how the previous acharyas lived, how they did bhajan. This is like our life and soul. Especially these are very recent Vaishnavas. His prominent disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So, actually, his Param Gurudev would never call him Akincana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, because he never took the renounced order officially. But actually the name given to him by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was Swa Adhikara Nanda Das Swa Adhikara Nanda Das. So how he got that name was very wonderful. That somehow he went for initiation, but his name was not given in the list of initiates. So, when the name of the initiates was read forth, that his name was not there. So he not became depressed or not became angry. He said simply, Krishna understands very nicely my adhikar, and I am happy with that. So inside, at least Pujari should wear dhoti kurta, no? At least Pujari should wear some dhoti kurta and tilak, no? This is not just...
So, I mean, this is what I do.
Anyway, I don't want to disturb, but next time wear dhoti and tilak, no? Because this is a very high thing we are doing, no? So anyway, so Saraswati Thakur inside heard that. And then he changed his name and gave him that name. Swa Adhikarananda, like that. One who takes bliss in his own qualification. So I think he joined in Delhi Mat. And from beginning he had a speciality, he could chant continuously Harinam. Many devotees say they never saw him sleep, never sleep. But all night he had that power, that taste. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He could chant all night. So some devotees wrote a letter complaining to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This devotee is not doing any practical seva, he is just chanting Harinam. So Prabhupada wrote a letter, anyone who can continuously chant Harinam we will give them a bed and 3 meals a day, no problem. So he had that ability to constantly chant the holy names of Krishna. So, there are many wonderful stories about him. Actually, one devotee, Subhag Maharaj, he's a disciple of Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. So he came to our little temple, Krishna Balaram, and he was speaking about Akincana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj. So he said, Babaji Maharaj would say, Subhag, come here, I will teach you how to chant the holy name during the night time. And Subhag, that time Maharaj was very young, so he was very enthusiastic, so he would also sit there. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. But he could not stay awake, he fell asleep. Then he woke up 4 in the morning, Babaji Maharaj was still chanting there. Then Babaji Maharaj said, Subhag, I will give you another chance. Come tonight. I will teach you how to chant the holy names in ecstasy. Then Maharaj was saying, I get myself together. So next night he came, Hare Krishna, Krishna. He also fell asleep. Then in the morning he saw Babaji Maharaj was still chanting. So this is a very extraordinary thing. We hear devotees like Haridas Thakur, we hear this type of Nam Ruchi. No. So Bhaktivedanta Bhaman Maharaj also would chant like that. Gogol Maharaj also would sleep 1 or 2 hours a night, but this type of devotee is very, very rare in this world. So people called him Akincana. Akincana means 2 words, Akincana and Niskincana. Who has no other wealth except Krishna, we call them Akincana. Actually, many people may say poverty-struck, but that is not correct. Like when Sukadeva Goswami was glorifying Sudama Vipra. No. Some places in Shastra it says one should not say one name of one guru openly. No. In some place in the Puran, just like a chaste wife, should not say name of husband. In the same way, Shastra says in some places, one should not openly say the name of guru. But if someone forced to much, then Om Vishnupad, Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami, one can say like. Because, like giving pearls before swine, maybe people like envious or not understand it. If they hear their name, they will not appreciate. So, like, as a chaste wife should not say name of guru, husband. In the same way, some place it said one should not say the name of guru openly. Therefore, Sukadeva Goswami, 2 places he never mentioned the name of which devotee? The name of Radhika and the name of Sudama Vipra. These 2 persons, Sukadeva Goswami, have special Guru Bhav towards, too much respect. So, what was I saying this for? Some reason. Akincana Krishnadas Babaji. So we never call a devotee poverty-struck. We say Akincana. They have Krishna, therefore they have no desire for anything else. Akincana Krishnadas. So it said really, one time someone donated him some land. So, as he bought some bricks and cement to construct some bhajan kunti on this land in Vrindavan. At that time, the person who donated the land, his brother came. No, my brother gave you the wrong piece of land. This is your land. Then Babaji Maharaj just brushed his hands and said, you guys keep everything. And then they said, what about the bricks and the sand and the cement? He said, if this construction is giving me so much headache even before I start, imagine what will happen after I construct something. So this bricks and cement, everything, you keep that also. And he left. Therefore, he would always go to different Gaudiya Maths everywhere. Not just Gaudiya Maths, also he had very affectionate relationship with Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. Very affectionate relationship. Welcome, sir. Come in. Don't be afraid. We're all vegetarians here. So he had very affectionate relationship with all his god brothers. Therefore, he would visit all their months. Especially, he was very intimate with Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. very intimate with Bhaktivedanta Swami Goswami Maharaj, Prabhupada. No? As our Bhakti Pragyan Kesar Maharaj, these 3-4 devotees, he was very Bhakti Daita Madhav Goswami Maharaj. He was very intimate relationship with them. So whenever our Param Gurudev, our Gurudev spiritual master, would perform parikram, then he would give Akincana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, he was in charge of all the finances. Because Param said he was the only person who will not steal anything. And Babaji Maharaj he just wore some knee-length cloth like this and some blanket in winter. Otherwise he had no other possessions. I heard if people would give him donations, he would collect and he would print Hare Krishna stickers. Right? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Donation, he would print millions of these stickers and he would just go everywhere, putting these stickers everywhere. Train stations, bus stations, people's cars, people's houses. And when all his stickers were finished, then he would print more stickers. In this way, he spent his life like that. So he would not just chant Harinam, but so many verses. They say hundreds and hundreds of verses and kirtans he had also memorized, including Bhakti Rakshak Shuddha Goswami Maharaj had written some 100 stotras glorifying Lord Chaitanya. I cannot remember the exact name, but he had memorized all 100 verses. And when this is something Gaudadev Stotra. And when he would chant Harinam, he would sing these verses with great ecstasy. So they said he would not dance before the deity, he would fly. They said because we have so many sins, we cannot dance before the deity. But who has no sins, they fly. So he had so much taste for Harinam. So also, he is very important. Everyone recognized him as Mahabhagwan. So in Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Prabhupada left in 1977. But in 1978, then Bhakti Daita Madhav Goswami Maharaj also left this world in Mayapur. So Srila Goga Maharaj went for that festival. And in the middle of the festival, he fell unconscious in the kirtan. Then somehow they carried him back, and many doctors came, but the doctor said, we don't know why, but we cannot find any disease. That is transcendental thing, no? Bhav Bhakti is transcendental, so you cannot see any material symptoms. Then many people were saying, oh, he must have some wind disorder in the brain, some madness. Other devotees were saying, he seems to be haunted by a ghost. That time, Bhakti Akincana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj was there. So they asked him, kindly look at Srila Govinda Maharaj. So when Babaji Maharaj went, he, like in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he took a little piece of cotton from his cloth and held it under his nose. Then he looked under his eyelids and said, this is no disease. This is Bhav Bhakti. And so Maharaj has entered the stage of Bhav Bhakti. So you should take care of him very nicely. Then Akincana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj said, if he survives, he will become a great acharya. Because Gurudev would explain this body is material. And prema is not material. Therefore when prema touches this body, most devotees cannot tolerate, they give up this body very quickly. If all devotees who achieve Bhav Bhakti give up their bodies, who will preach to us? So Krishna, by their mercy, he keeps them in this world. So Akincana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj was that type of vision. So he would travel all around Brajamandal, but especially he was very much attached to Dauji. I think there were four special deities installed by Bhajanab. Bhajanab is the great grandson of Krishna. Right? Krishna's son Pradyumna, Pradyumna's son Aniruddha. Aniruddha's son was Bhajanab. So he did a lot of Kusum Sarova that was built by Bhajanab. Also the deities of Madhumohan, Madhumohan, Govinda, Gopinath, these all were different deities were established by Bhajanab. So especially 4 devs, if I can try to remember, Baladev, Govinda Dev. Can you remember the 4 devs? Baladev, Govinda Dev, Haridev, Keshav Dev, these 4 deities. These 4 deities personally like Bhajanam established. Also our deity of Purnamasi, we have one deity we take care of there in Sevakunj, this deity also installed by Bhajanam 5,000 years ago. So this deity of Baladev, very ancient, a very wonderful deity. It's said that Muslim king who destroyed Govindadev, what was his name? Aurangzeb. They said every night on top of the temple of Govindadev, built by Rupa Goswami, there was a ghee lamp, and it would burn 50 liters of ghee every night. So this Aurangzeb was living in Agra. So he saw this bright light, he asked, "What's that star there?" And someone said, "That's not a star, that's the temple, the lamp on top of Govinda." So Aurangzeb was very envious. He attacked Vrindavan and destroyed that temple. So he also heard there's a very beautiful deity of Baladev. So he went to destroy that also. So Brijvasis tell the story when he was walking with his army towards the temple of, they called Baldeo, Baladev. So when they came there, then he was asking the locals, how far to Baladev temple? They said 10 miles. So all day he was walking, in the evening he'd ask, how far to Baladev temple? They say 10 miles. In this way for a week, he was trying to walk but could not get anywhere near Baladev temple because Baladev. So that deity is there since that time. So Akincana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, he was there in front of the deities chanting Harinam. Deity, there's only Baladev there. And on the corner there's a little deity, not a little deity, but a deity of Baladev's wife in Dwarka. Her name was Revati. So he was chanting there in front of the deity of Baladev. Then some sleep, some tiredness came to him. Then all of a sudden he shouted, "Oh Baladev, take me with you, take me with you." Means that time was midday past, like 10 o'clock pastimes of cow grazing. So very loudly he shouted, "Take me, oh Baladev, take me with you, take me with you." He shouted, then he fell unconscious there on the ground of that Baladev temple. Means that way, Bhakti Rakshak Srila Maharaj taught. That time Baladev gave him entrance to his seva, and he was very famous devotee in Sakiras. So it's not a fact that everyone in Mahaprabhu Sampradaya have to become Manjari, because we see devotees in all rasas, and Akincana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj one of them. So tomorrow is his disappearance, so we do pranam. So he left his body there near Nandagaon. That is the place of Krishna. And down the bottom of Nandagaon is one big Sarova. What's it called? We used to take bath in it for the life. We have not taken bath there for many years. But there's a big Sarova there. So his bhajan place, his bhajan stali is there. Pavan Sarova. Thank you very much. Okay, so Akincana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, even today his bhajan stali there. I heard he was quite close to Bhaktivedanta Trivikram. And there are also some other devotees like Dinabandhu Das Babaji Maharaj, like also some other god brothers also doing bhajan in that place. So Akincana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj ki. His disappearance is tomorrow, but we can try to remember something today. So,
question?
Yes, sir.
Was that the Dauji temple?
Dauji temple.
Yeah.
Yes. Wonderful temple of Baladev
We
there.
go there on Parikrama.
We go there, yes. Mahavan, long drive. So, I thought, anyway, everyone here is pretty much initiated in Kantik Vaishnava. So what should we talk about today? I thought a little talk about, I didn't know who would come today, so I thought we'd speak something from 7th chapter about deity worship. Demigod worship. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna clearly forbids those who worship me. Rishikesh Govinda Seva na puji devata. Those who worship Rishikesh or Govinda, Narottam Das Thakur writes, for that Ekantic Vaishnava, there is no need to worship any type of Deva or Devi or Deva. What's your name, sir? What's your name? Sham. Okay. How do you fit into this temple? That's Jashi's son. Wow. Damodar son. Do you remember me? Yes, I thought you looked familiar. Unfortunately, time has ravished us both. You probably didn't recognize me also. So, Bhagavad Gita, we see Krishna says, Yas yas te te rujada janam prapad na prapadenti anya devata. Those who have many, many other desires, desire for dharma, art or karma, they worship the demigods. Why? Because too many other desires. But the Vaishnava is niskam. Vaishnava have no desire for anything except Krishna's seva. Therefore it said, only the Vaishnava is niskam. Tumara hridaya sada Govinda Vishram Govinda Kohena Mama Vaishnava. In this Kirtan, Narottam Thakur says, Krishna rests in the heart of the Vaishnava. He takes rest there. Then someone may give the argument, but Bhagavan is present in the heart of every living entity, but not in the heart. Why giving special preference to the Vaishnavas? So it's true the Super Soul is in the heart of everyone, but Super Soul cannot rest there. Like imagine you're trying to take rest somewhere, and every 5 minutes someone's like, hey, Asta Siddhi, I need this. Hey, Asta Siddhi, can I borrow your phone? No, you cannot rest because always they're asking something from you. But the Vaishnavas have no desire because they are niskam. Vaishnavas have no desire, they don't desire anything from Krishna. So Krishna can rest in their heart because every 5 minutes they're not asking him for something. So Tamara Hridaya Sada Govinda Vishram Govinda Kohena Mama Vaishnav Param. So Krishna rests in the heart of the Vaishnava very nicely. And the Vaishnava is also in the heart of Krishna. Sadhunam Hridayam Manayam Sadhunam Hridayantaham Nadanyaten Manajapi Naham Tenya Jananapi. Lord Narayan said to Durvasa Rishi, I am in the heart of the sadhu. I always remember the sadhu. And the sadhu is in my heart. I always remember the devotee also. So the devotee remembers Krishna, and Krishna remembers devotee. So devotee also feel happiness resting in the heart of Bhagavan. Because Bhagavan's heart is Vishuddha Sattva. In Krishna's heart there's no Sattva gun, Rajagun, Tamagun. Therefore the Suddha Sattva Visheshatma, the pure Vaishnava, always rests in the heart of Krishna because transcendental place. And Krishna always rests in the heart of the Vaishnava. So one who has that type of relationship with Krishna, then no need to worship or remember anyone else. This is called Ananya Bhakti. One-pointed devotion. Ananyas Chinti Yukto Mam Ye Janu Parupasate Tesham Nitya Yukta Yoga Kshaman Yaham Yaham. Famous verse of Bhagavad Gita. Welcome, sir. You are late. Come. So, in Bhagavad Gita we see Krishna forbids the worship of the demigods, the devas and devis. But in 3rd chapter, Krishna also speaks about it. In 7th chapter, Krishna forbids. But in 3rd chapter, Krishna speaks about it. Krishna speaks about yajna. Human beings should worship the demigods in 3rd chapter by yajna. Like we're getting earth from the earth planet, right? Prithvi Devi. Sun by the sun god. Moon, from the moon come all vegetables, fruits and vegetables. Right? Varun is giving water, Vayu is giving air, digestion. Right? So in 3rd chapter Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, when the humans worship the demigods, then demigods being satisfied, the demigods also give everything for human beings. So it's like a cycle of karma. Human being worships the devas give all facility. Like we see in the modern age, so much drought or flood, this is not caused by climate change, this is caused by sinful activity. Right? everyone killing the cows, everyone drinking alcohol, divorces, abortion, all these things, then of course the reaction is excessive heat, excessive flood. No? So carbon dioxide is not the problem. What's the problem? Nandakishore? Yeah. Sinful activity. So in third chapter, Krishna promotes the worship of the Devis and Devas. And in seventh chapter, he forbids. So scripture always give like this ordinary rules. Sadharan Vidhi and Vishesh Vidhi. Like the ordinary rule says, don't kill anyone. Right? If you kill someone, you go to jail. But if there's a war and you shoot someone, you get a medal. Right? Ordinary rule is don't speed. Don't go over 80 or 100 kilometers. But the ambulance, when it's driving to the hospital, may go 150 kilometers. They don't get a ticket. So there's always rules for one class of person and rules for another class of person. So for the ordinary person, they should perform their rinis, their debts, worship of mother and father, service to mother and father, worship of the demigods, worship of the pitris, the forefathers, right? Service to the cows, right? Cows give milk, cream, butter. So everyone has this debt of karma. So if ordinary persons, those who are not Vaishnavas, if they do not perform this ordinary yajna, then they go to hell. They will have to suffer because rini, they're indebted. But Vaishnava neglect the ordinary rules and support the Paravidhi. There is no fault in them. So ordinary persons to worship the demigods, no fault, that is their adhikar. But Vaishnavas give up their adhikar and worship the demigods. The real adhikar of the Vaishnavas is ekantic exclusive worship of Bhagavan. But Vaishnava give up that and worship the demigods, that will be a fault. Understand? No. We see this in scripture many, many times. Like scripture again and again and say, father and mother are like guru. Therefore son and daughter should always obey mother and father. Right? That is Sadharan Vidhi, ordinary rules. But we see Prahlad Maharaj not followed the instruction of his father. His father was the great demon Hiranyakasipu. But we see Prahlad not followed his instructions. But this is not a fault because Prahlad Maharaj is following this Vishesh Vidhi. So one is Dharma and one is Param Dharma. Like another example, or scriptures say, wives should not give up husband. Wife should not give up husband. And Krishna spoke that to the gopis. Even if husband is ugly, deformed, bad behavior, what else, old, diseased, still chaste wife should not give him up. But we see the gopis gave up their husbands for the seva of Krishna. So this is Paramdara. Many, many examples. Younger brother should not disobey the older brother. But we see Vivasan, he not followed his brother Ravan. Older brother is like Guru. But when Ravan gave instructions to Vivasan against Bhagavad Bhakti, then Vivasan not followed that. So this is Paradharma. Savai pum sam parodharma yatir bhakti adoksaja. Therefore, if everyone has read Jaiva Dharma, there is a very exclusive, very extensive discussion about the difference between Naimitic Dharma, temporary or occasional Dharma, and eternal Dharma. So, therefore, Krishna's so-called contradiction in the 3rd chapter and 7th chapter, this is no contradiction. Krishna is just talking about 2 different levels of Dharma. Naimitic, temporary or occasional Dharma, and Bhagavad Dharma, Sanatana Dharma. So if one gives up the practice of Sanatana Dharma to fulfill some other temporary Dharma, that will be a fault. For that reason, it's forbidden for the Vaishnavas to worship anyone else except for Krishna. Like we see especially in the Sri Sampradaya, the Sampradaya of Ramanujacharya. It's said if someone even says the name Shiva in Sri Sampradaya, they should fast. That much there. And there's a history behind that. There was, of course, we know Ramanujacharya was preaching from Sri Rangan and other places. But there was one so-called devotee of Lord Shiva. So he was promoting so-called Shivaism, Shivite, the worship of Shiva. No. But if one worships Shiva but neglects Vishnu, then he's a demon. Like Ravan. If Ravan and Shiva, if Vishnu and Shiva are non-different, then why is Ravan called a demon? Because he was exclusive devotee of Lord Shiva. So if one accepts Shiva but does not accept Shiva's Ishtadev, this is a fault. No? Like Purnam, I accept Purnam, but I neglect Purnam's mother and father. Is this good? Would you be happy? So I accept Shiva, but I don't accept Shiva's Ishtadev, Shiva's Guru. This will be one type of offense. No? Like if someone says, I am disciple of Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, but they don't accept Bhakti Pragyan Kesav Maharaj, then that person also like one type of asura, one type of demon. So this king, who was devotee of Shiva, he was thinking, I cannot properly promote the worship of Shiva because of Ramanuja. No, because he was a great devotee of Vishnu. So thinking like that, he attacked Sri Rangan. But Ramanuja escaped. No. But there was one devotee of Ramanuja, his name was Kuresh. He looked the same as Ramanujacharya. So when the soldiers of the king were capturing the Vaishnavas, then Kuresh said, I am Ramanuja. He allowed himself to be captured. Then this king was very envious. He thought, if I can defeat Ramanuja, I can destroy the Sri Sampradaya and uproot Vishnu Bhakti in South India. So thinking like that, he arranged a great Dharma Sabha, a big religious assembly. And Kuresh was with one other Vaishnava. His name I cannot remember. So there was a big debate between Kuresh and this one devotee. Kuresh was the main. And hundreds of so-called Brahmanas, so-called Shiv Bhaktas. But they could not defeat Kuresh. Then finally the king became very angry. He said, just admit that Shiva is greater than Vishnu. If you do not admit, I will take out your eyes. Then Kuresh made a joke. So at that time, now people use grams and kilograms. At that time, they used different measures of weight. So one was a Shiva. Shiva was maybe 20 grams. And another one was a Drona. A Drona was 50 grams. So Kuresh made a joke. Even Drona is greater than Shiva. Like that. Then this king became very angry. I think his name was Kurmijom, something like that. So he ordered the eyes of Ramanuja to be pulled out. But it wasn't Ramanuja, it was Kuresh. So on the order of the king, they took Kuresh to the jail and pulled out his eyes with a red-hot poker. But Kuresh was not disturbed. He smiled. Thank you for allowing me to do this, Guru Seva. Imagine. If that was us, Balaram, what would we be doing? So, when the jailers saw his complete equanimity, then they released, even the hearts of the jailers melted, they released him from jail. And that other Vaishnav, he died then. So this Kuresh somehow was rescued. He came back to Ramanujacharya. But he was blind. So Kuresh was a wonderful singer. And so whenever he sang, the Lord would appear before him. So Ramanuja ordered him, you go to the temple and you sing before the deity of Lord Vishnu, Sri Rangan. You sing before him. So when Vishnu appears before you and he asks you what benediction you want, you should ask for your eyes back. So Kuresh, on the order of Gurudev, went to the temple, began to sing. Lord Vishnu appeared before him. Whatever you want, I will give you. And Kuresh was so generous. Oh Bhagavan, that king who ordered us to be tortured to death, he must be suffering with his relatives in hell. Please deliver them. Then Vishnu said, it shall be so. So when news came to Ramanuja, your disciple, he asked like that, then Ramanuja asked him, go again, sing again, and this time ask for your eyes back. So Kuresh went and sang again. When Lord Shirangan appeared in his meditation, what do you want? Well, the king who gave the order, no, the jailers who pulled out my eyes, they must also be suffering. So please give them liberation. Lord Vishnu said, Tatastu, it shall be so. Then finally Ramanujacharya became angry. I gave you direct order to ask for your eyes back, so you go one more time. So Kuresh went and sang again. Again Lord Vishnu appeared before him. What do you want? Then Kuresh said, some time ago I lost 2 things belonging to my spiritual master. Please return them. Then Lord Vishnu said, and his eyes came back. Because you think these eyes belong to Gurudev. So this is a nice example how Vaishnava is niskaram. No desire. Therefore Lord Chaitanya took 2 things from each sampradaya. From Sri Sampradaya he took the idea of service to the Vaishnavas. And from Sri Sampradaya he took the idea of bhakti not covered by karma or jnana. That thing came from this. Amala bhakti, pure bhakti coming from Sri Sampradaya. Therefore Sri Sampradaya is so much opposed to the worship of especially Lord Shiva. They have a history. Indeed, there's a story when Ramanujacharya went to Jagannath. Here is Jagannath Dev. So Jagannath's worship is very wonderful. You cannot find the rules and regulations of Jagannath that is not in any Pancharatric Vidi. Like in Jagannath temple there's no Mangalati. Did you know that? No Mangalati. Of course I cannot go inside, but when Gurudev was sick, his pastimes of sickness in Radha Damodar temple there, then one devotee would go every morning. He'd go like 8 o'clock for morning dash. But one day he came back like 11:30. And I said, how come you're so late? And he said, normally the pujaris like do morning darshan like 8 or 9 o'clock, but today morning darshan was 11. Then he asked the head pujari, why so late today? And the pujari said, what can we do? Jagannath hasn't come back. No Jagannath, no Mangalati. So Jagannath's worship is very wonderful. I think he eats 56 times a day, right? Something incredible. They say Jagannath's hands never wet because after he eats, he washes his hands, then the next preparation comes. So when Ramanujacharya saw this, he said, they are not properly following the rules and regulations of the Pancharatric Vidi. And especially in Dwapara Yuga, one achieved perfection by following the Pancharatric. Without Pancharatric Diksha, without following Pancharatric Vidi, one cannot become regulated and perform bhajan properly. So Ramanujacharya said, you are not properly following the rules and regulations of the deity worship. Therefore I challenge you to debate. Then all the servants of Jagannath became afraid. We cannot defeat Ramanujacharya in debate. He is like a scriptural encyclopedia. So they prayed to Jagannath. Jagannath, we don't know good or bad. We only know you. We are your servants. Please save us. So night time, Jagannath Dev, he picked up Ramanujacharya, his bed, his bag, everything, and put like 300 miles in the south. So when Ramanujacharya woke up, not only was he not in Jagannath Puri, he was like, I think it was like 600 miles south. There was one, Kurmaketra. He came and he saw there was no deity of Lord Vishnu here. There was only one deity of Lord Shiva. So he said, I will have to fast because I saw Shiva first thing in the morning. Then he did some real research. He found this is not the deity of Shiva, this is the deity of Kurma. So then he took prasad. So in Sri Sampradaya, we see very strongly that aversion to the deity worship. But Lord Chaitanya gave another type of vision. Especially when Lord Chaitanya would come to any temple of Lord Shiva, especially there in Bhubaneswar, is the deity of Lingaraj, the famous deity of Mahadev. But Lord Chaitanya not only went inside the deity of Lingaraj, he began chanting and dancing in ecstasy. Then Mahaprabhu taught us, there is nothing wrong with worship of the demigods, but we should worship them in the mood of Guru. Gurudev would say this. Right? We worship Shiva, but we worship him in the mood of Guru. Because there is also one Rudra Sampradaya, no? And there they give Vishnu mantras through Rudra Sampradaya. So Gurudev said, we can worship even Ganesh, we can worship, but in the mood of Guru, like Durga. Of Vaishnavas not too much follow, but still Navaratri is there. And Durga, we can worship her as great Vaishnavi. Like in Sanatana Goswami's Brihad Bhagavatamrita, there was one Brahmin. His name was Janasharma. So he was in Assam. And he was simple-hearted. So he was worshipping there to get some wealth. He was worshipping Lord Shiva to get wealth. So night time, Durga Devi appeared in his dream, because he was simple-hearted, only not so much tattva. And she gave him Gopal mantra, right? And some instructions on worship. And by chanting that same Gopal mantra, gradually, Janasharma met his guru, Gopakumar. From Gopakumar, he heard all Tattva Siddhanta. Then, in the end, Gopakumar embraced him. He became the same as Gopakumar. Both guru and disciple went back to Godhead. Therefore, you see examples like Shiva is Param Vaishnava. No? As the Ganga is the best of the rivers, as the Srimad Bhagavatam is the best of the Puranas, no? As Janardhan is best of the Devas. No? In the same way, Vaishnavanam Yathashambhu, Shiva is the best of the Vaishnavas. Therefore, we may worship Durga, we may worship Mahadev, we may worship Ganesh. Even when Gurudev went to Fiji, Gurudev told a story. One day all the demigods were discussing who is the greatest, who is the greatest. So it was decided who can do parikrama of the entire universe first. That person is the greatest demigod. So of course Shiva has the bull very fast. Lord Brahma has swan very fast. But Ganesh's carrier is mouse. Mouse is not very fast. And Ganesh is quite healthy, as they say. But Ganesh is most intelligent. Therefore, Gurudev would say, Ganesh just wrote the name of Ram on a piece of paper. And while all the demigods were racing around the universe, Ganesh wrote the name Ram on a piece of paper and gets in circumambulation of that piece of paper. Because inside Ram is the entire creation. So by circumambulating the name of Ram, which is the same as Ram, then by that Ganesh was considered the best of the devas. And he should be worshipped before anyone. Because of his intelligence, his devotion. So Lord Chaitanya, when he would go to these temples of the various devas, he would not neglect like other sampradayas. What would he do? He would worship them as Vaishnavas. He would worship them as Guru and give respect like that. In this way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because it says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, no? Sakala Saman Kore Jane Nija Krishna Adishtan. We should respect everyone knowing that the Super Soul is in the heart of everyone. So if Super Soul is in the heart of you and me, then why the Super Soul is not also present in the heart of Durga and Shiva and Ganesh and others? So with that proper understanding, with complete Sambandha Gyan, knowledge of how everyone is related to Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this reconciliation. So also one of the 10 offenses to the name of Krishna one is to consider Lord Durga, one is to consider the devas to be separate or independent of Vishnu. Okay, Riseshwari, try and stay awake. So Jiva Goswami discusses. It's an offense to think that Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu are the same. One who thinks like that, it's offense. It says, Yastu Narayana Deva Brahma Rudadi Devatas Samatvana Vikshana Sapasandi Durvambhavat. One who considers Rudra, Durga, or anyone else to be equal to Vishnu, Sapashandi Durvambhavat. He is to be considered a Pashandi, an offender. But Jiva Goswami in his Sandarbhas writes, but if one considers Shiva and Vishnu to be the same, he's an offender. But if one considers Shiva and Vishnu to be different, he's also an offender. So what are we going to do, Balaram? Is he the same? Is he different? He is simultaneously one with and different from Bhagavan. In this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this harmony. So I wanted to tell one katha. This is in Gurudev's book, Madhurya Kadambi. In Bhagavatam we see examples also, like when the Brijabasis were worshipping Indra every year. Then Krishna was quite small, when baby could not understand what's going on too much, but when become older, then children ask so many questions. So when Krishna saw Mother Yasoda very busy in the kitchen, cooking so many preparations, not just Mother Yasoda, all Brijabasis, making so many pakwans and malpur and puri, sabji, kheer, jalebi. Then Krishna asked again and again, "Oh Mother, what's happening? Is it some festival?" Then Krishna thought, maybe it's my birthday. So is it my birthday? No. But Mother Yasoda very busy, therefore she not answered. So being dejected, Krishna went to his father Nanda Baba. "Father, what's happening? What is today's festival?" Then father also don't want to waste too much time talking. But again and again Krishna asked, "Oh, today we worship Indra Puja." Then Krishna asked, "Is this in Parampara, or are you just making up some festival?" No, Nanda Baba said. Since many generations, no, my father Parjana, he did, his father did. So this festival is also in Brijabasi's Parampara. Then Krishna was thinking, in Bhagavad Gita, I forbid my exclusive devotees to worship anyone else except me. And of all the exclusive devotees of Bhagavan, who is the topmost? Brajabasi Janadisu. The Brijabasis are the topmost of all Vaishnavas, the topmost devotees. So especially what Brijabasi do, that will become Siddhanta for everyone. Krishna says, Yadyada chariti shrashtas tatadivataro jana. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says. What example the leader follows, the common men will do. Like Gurudev would always say, at Chaturmas, Gurudev had big beard. That was not Chaturmas, but Gurudev would say to us, take photo of me with big beard. He said, afterwards, otherwise, Padmanabh Maharaj will tell everyone, Narayan Maharaj never did a Chaturmas. So one praman is there, one proof. So Brijbasi, the proof, the praman, because they're the gurus of everyone. No? Even Brahma, Shiva, they worship Brijbasi. So Brijbasi is the topmost guru. So Krishna was thinking, if my Brijbasi is also worshipping the devas, then what will happen to the parampara, what will happen to the future generations? They will also become deviated. For that reason, Krishna stopped Indra Puja. How Krishna stopped? No. He gave many different types of arguments. Father, why we worship Indra? Then Father said, because Indra is the devata of rain. So when Indra is happy, he gives rain. Rain makes grass. Cows eat the grass. From the cows we get milk, cream, paneer. What else? Cream, butter, yogurt. All wonderful things come from that. So, we worship Indra because he maintains us. Then Krishna spoke some things. O father, just like a chaste wife should maintain a woman who gives up her maintainer, her husband, pati, and worships some other man, then she is unchaste, like a prostitute. In the same way, we are Brijvasi. Who is our maintainer? Giriraj. Giriraj gives rain. Giriraj gives fruits, roots, leaves, fruits, water, grass, everything he gives. Yeah. So we should worship our maintainer Giriraj, and indirectly Krishna is saying we should not worship the prostitute Indra. Indirectly. Krishna, that's why Indra is so much angry at Krishna's words. Because Krishna abusing him indirectly. So we are maintained by Giriraj, we are Brijbasis, we should worship Govardhan. So all the puja was transferred from Indra to the worship of Giriraj. And Giriraj means Vishnu Tattva. You can think like that. Giriraj can be worshipped, like Maharaj said to Raghunath Goswami. This Giriraj is not different than Bhagavan. You worship him with Tulsi and Gangajal. So we see in Bhagavatam Krishna stopping the worship of any other deva. So there's a nice story there in Madhurya Kadambini. There was one Vaishnav, devotee of Vishnu. Vishnu means Vishnu Tattva. Krishna, Ram, this is all Vishnu Tattva. So who worships Vishnu in any Swarup, that devotee is called Vaishnav. Griyata Vishnu Diksha ko Vishnu Puja Puropa. What's your name again, madam? Rekha. Where's your daughter and son?
My son is here. And my daughter is in Australia.
He's huge.
Yeah.
Last time I saw you, you were about that big or something. What's your name? Ajay. Wow. Good to see you again. You've changed. So, who worships Krishna, who worships Ram, who worships Nrsingadev, who worships Vishnu, these are called Vaishnavas. So Griyata Vishnu Diksha ko Vishnu Puja Parupa. Who took Vishnu Diksha in Vishnu mantra. Right? Who took Diksha, that is Vaishnav. But who took Diksha and is not worshipping Vishnu, that is not a Vaishnav. So it's not enough not just to take Diksha, you also have to do some seva. So both things should be there. We can accept that person as Vaishnav. No? So one Vaishnav, he was in South India. So as he was walking through the forest, he came to one village. So in that village, the village chief, he was a devotee of Shiva. And his Brahmin priest was sick. He could not do the puja. So the village chief, he saw this Vaishnav and grabbed him. My priest, my Brahmin is sick. Please, I am requesting you, you should worship Lord Shiva. So the Vaishnava very sweetly, I am sorry, I cannot do like that. I am the Ananya Bhakta of Lord Vishnu. I only worship Lord Vishnu, I cannot worship any other demigod, any deva. That is forbidden for. Then that, I have to speak very carefully, Lord Shiva is the presiding deity of Tamagur. So some of his devotees also have that same nature, tamasic. Of course, not all devotees of Shiva are tamasic. But generally we see that is the case. Someone asked him, Prabhupada, no? Generally he said that people have many other desires, they worship Shiva. Then someone asked Prabhupada, could it be possible there is devotees of Shiva who have no material desires? And Prabhupada gave a wonderful answer. He said, it may be possible, but not very likely. Just like you may go to the pub, it could be in the pub there's someone who's not drinking alcohol, but it's not very likely. But still, we see tamasic worshippers of Lord Shiva, rajasic worshippers of Lord Shiva, sattvic worshippers of Lord Shiva, also nirgun worshippers of Lord Shiva we find. Like Ravan, he's an example of... Ravan is more rajasic. He worshipping Lord Shiva to get something. Some tamasic worshippers of the Lord Shiva doing animal sacrifice. But in Bhagavatam we see the example of Markandeya Rishi. Markandeya Rishi is someone who worships Shiva just out of affection or out of sense of duty. No. And to those persons Shiva gives mercy, those persons become Vaishnavas. And some people worship Shiva devoid of Sattva gun, Rajagun or Tamagun. Who is that? That is the Vaishnavas. We also worship fast on Shivaratri. We also worship Shiva in the form of Advaitacharya. We worship Sadashiva. The Vaishnavas worship Sadashiva. So when the village man asked, please you worship my deity of Shiva, then the Vaishnava said, I cannot worship because I'm not the Bhakta of Vishnu. And for the devotees of Vishnu, it's forbidden to worship anyone else. So this devotee of Shiva became quite angry. He took out his sword. If you do not worship my deity of Lord Shiva, I will cut your head off. The devotee thought, if my head is cut off, how will I do service to Bhagavan? Yeah. Then how will I give happiness to Bhagavan if I'm dead? So what to do? He thought very carefully. And he thought, this man is too much ignorant, too much tamagun. In Bhagavad Gita, this is also one type of shraddha, tamasic shraddha. Tamasic shraddha, rajasic shraddha, sattvic shraddha, and nirgun shraddha. I think in which chapter of Bhagavad Gita Krishna talks all this, maybe 14th chapter. Tamasic shraddha have its symptoms, no? Animal sacrifice, right? To buy a goat costs a lot of money. This is one shraddha for animal sacrifice. Or like in some religions, suicide bombing, this is one big shraddha to pull the cord and Allah Akbar. This is one shraddha, one faith, but tamasic shraddha. Why? Because giving pain to the super soul in the hearts of everyone. So this Vaishnava thought this man is tamasic. Kill me. If you don't worship my deity of Shiva, I'll kill me. He's too much tamasic. So who is the incarnation of Vishnu who destroys Tamagun? That is Nrsimhadev. Right? So Nrsimhadev is the super soul in the heart of everyone. So Lord Shiva is always meditating. Who is he thinking of? He's also thinking of Lord Nrsimhadev. So I will worship that. I will worship the deity of Lord Shiva with that understanding. So he offered flowers. Vishnave Nama. I worship Lord Vishnu. Because Lord Nrsimhadev also in the heart of Bhagavan, in the heart of Lord Shiva. Therefore I will worship him like that. So when he chanted the Vishnu mantras, offering the flowers to the deity of Lord Shiva, then this gentleman became very angry. I told you to worship Shiva, I did not tell you to worship Lord Vishnu. So he took out his sword and went to cut off the head of that devotee. So Lord Nrsimhadev, very kind, he never tolerated any disrespect of the Vaishnavas. So from the deity of Lord Shiva burst the form of Nrsimhadev. And he killed that man. He killed that man who was going to chop off the head of his Vaishnavas. So that deity of Lord, half Shiva, half Nrsimhadev, that deity is still there. No? I have not seen it, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions that deity is there in South India. No? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave more instructions on that. So those who in the line, of course in Lord Chaitanya Sampradaya we find all type of worship. Like a few days ago it was the worship of Lord Ramchandra. Bhakti Pragyan Kesamar says in the Gaudiya Sampradaya there is also facility for worship of Ramchandra. Right? Who is the greatest devotee of Ramchandra in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sampradaya? Murari Gupta. Actually, Murari Gupta's, the basis of Chaitanya Charitamrita comes from Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta spoke to Swarup Damodar, that is Sanskrit notes. I think it's called Mahakavya. That's in Sanskrit, huge book like that, full of all Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Navadvip Leela, especially Puri Leela and others, that is spoken by Murari Gupta to Swarup Damodar Goswami. Swarup Damodar Goswami spoke to Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami came to Vrindavan and he spoke to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He said every day as a fixed Niyam Seva, as a fixed part of his everyday worship, Raghunath Goswami would speak about Lord Chaitanya for 3 hours a day. And who is he speaking to? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Therefore Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita. Was he hearing so much? So, in Sri Sampradaya, we find, in Gaudiya Sampradaya, we also find worship of Lord Ram. One day Lord Chaitanya said to Maharaj Gupta, you should worship Krishna. Krishna has so many wonderful qualities which are not present in Mahajada Purushottam Ramchandra. But when Murari thought about giving up the worship of Lord Ram, he felt so much pain. But also he felt, how can I disobey Lord Chaitanya's instructions? As we say in English, between a rock and a hard place. I cannot give up Ram, I cannot give up Lord Chaitanya. So he thought, what will I do? I will commit suicide. So he bought a knife, actually. He kept it under his pillow. And he thought, in Brahma Muhurta, Mangalati, I'll take my life. So normally Mangalati is 4:30. Lord Chaitanya came to his kutir at 4 in the morning, half an hour before. Murari, wake up, give me the knife. And Murari began to weep. He is the super soul, yet anta jami purusho yatika sasvayam. Lord Chaitanya is super soul in the heart of everyone. I cannot cheat him. Then Lord Chaitanya asked, Murari, why you want to give up my association? Why you want to cheat me by abandoning me? Then Murari began to weep. I cannot give you up, but I cannot give up Lord Ram. What can I do? So I want to take my own life. But Lord Chaitanya heard this. Lord Chaitanya was very happy. No, I was just testing your faith. Then Lord Chaitanya, with some sandalwood paste, he wrote Ram Das on his forehead. You are Hanuman. No. That time Lord Chaitanya gave him darshana in the Swarup of Lord Ram. So Murari Gupta always thinks my Ramchandra is now doing pastimes of chanting Harinam. My Ramchandra is now taking sannyas and is chanting Harinam. So he would always see his Ishtadev in Lord Chaitanya. Like Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur would not see Mahaprabhu as Radha Krishna. Srivas Thakur would see Mahaprabhu always as Narayan. Because the Ishtadev of Narad Muni is Lakshmi Narayan. In the same way, the Goswamis would see Mahaprabhu as Radha Krishna because they are Brijvasis. So everyone would see Lord Chaitanya. There was one devotee, Pradyumna Brahmachari. He was devotee of Lord Nrsingadev. That story is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He knew Lord Chaitanya was coming to Nadia. So on the way, he was waiting, because at that time there was no SMS, no Facebook. Lord Chaitanya said, next year I will come to see my two mothers. But when exactly, which day he would come, no news. So every day, the devotees would wait for him on the path. Then all of a sudden, Pradyumna became excited. Lord Chaitanya will definitely come today, so we must cook something for him. So Pradyumna was a very expert in cooking. This is not Pradyumna Mishra. This is another Pradyumna Brahmachari. Jaivadharma, Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about him. He would worship the deity of Lord Nrsingadev there in Nrsingsapalli. That was his deity. So he was cooking, and he made two offerings. One for Jagannath, one for Nrsingadev. 2 plates. So he was meditating, and in the meditation he saw Lord Chaitanya came and ate the plate offered to Jagannath. But then he saw Lord Chaitanya also ate the offering for Lord Nrsingadev. Then Pradyumna, of course, was happy that Lord Chaitanya came, but he was also sad. And he thought, okay, say Krishna, say Gaur, say Jagannath. Lord Jagannath, Lord Chaitanya is Lord Jagannath. So he eats the offering of Lord Jagannath, no problem. But why he ate the offering of Nrsingadev? That means Nrsingadev will have to go hungry. So being very sad, he cooked another offering for Nrsingadev. So that night Lord Chaitanya came, and Lord Chaitanya changed into Lord Nrsingadev and accepted that offer. He saw in his meditation. Then he believed, oh, Lord Chaitanya is Lord Nrsingadev. So he would always worship him like that. So it's not a fact that all devotees of Mahaprabhu will see Lord Chaitanya as Radha Krishna. Some people promoting this type of theory. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only came to give Manjari Bhav. Lord Chaitanya, many people, many things say. But we look from a little proper point of view, we see when Lord Chaitanya came, the devotees of all the other incarnations also came. That we see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are devotees of Narayan, devotees of Ram, devotees of Nrsingadev, devotees of Dwarkadish Krishna, devotees of Brajanandan, Shamsundar, everyone was there. So, Murari Gupta, he's Hanuman, and that Hanuman is Madhvacharya. So Param Gurudev used this logic in this essay, Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, to disprove all these false notions that there's no acceptance of Lord Ram and Gaudiya Sampradaya. And even many people not accept that Gaudiya Sampradaya is part of Madhva Sampradaya, because Madhva Sampradaya is some different type of worship. But Param Gurudev cut all these foolish ideas, foolish ideologies. What was the reason I was speaking all this? There was a reason. What was it? I cannot remember. Getting too old, forget that. Yes, some reason we were speaking all these things. I cannot remember. Anyway, this is all general. So Lord Chaitanya gave very broad understanding of all these tattvas, all these ideas. Are there any questions from the people? Does anyone have any questions? Yes?
When I go to Vrindavan, I always go to see Gopishwara first, which is a very old and small lingam of Lord Shiva, and dressed in the afternoon as Gopishwara. And I ask for his interest to Vrindavan. This is the tradition of my Sampradaya.
That is Gaudiya Sampradaya's tradition. They said he is Ketrapal, he is guardian of the Dham. He is the guardian of all holy places. Just like it said, if you go to Vrindavan but don't first get the mercy of Lord Shiva, your parikrama will not be successful. That's why when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered Ketrapuri, when he entered Jagannath Puri, he went to see the deity of Lingaraj. Because the deity of the Dham of Jagannath Puri is shaped like a conch shell, but that entrance place is Bhuvaneshwar, where Lingaraj, Mahadev also stays there. So Mahadev always present there. So we should worship Lord Shiva, but in the proper way, in relationship to Bhagavan. Then there is no fault. But you forget Bhagavan and worship Shiva, then that worship will destroy you. Like Ravan worshipped so much Lord Shiva, but the benedictions given by Lord Shiva could not protect Ravan. Those benedictions were the cause of his destruction. So conclusion is we worship as Guru Tattva, no problem. Like many people worship Hanuman. Right? But Hanuman, his life and soul is Lord Ram. So you don't give Hanuman Bhagavat Ram Prasad or speak Ram Katha, Hanuman not so happy with that worship. That worship is incorrect. No? So we have to do everything. Bhakti Rakshak Shuddha said, religion means proper adjustment. Everyone has to be in their proper place, then there's harmony. And we ignore that and just worship independently, that will cause disharmony, dissatisfaction. So, any questions more? Prabhavati, yes?
Maharaj mentioned that Sukadeva Goswami, Sri Sukadeva Goswami, did not mention the name of Sri Radha and Sudama Vipra. I'm just wondering, we understand a little bit about Sri Radha, but what about why he did not mention about Sudama Vipra?
Too much respect.
Much respect.
Because Sukadeva, who has that much renunciation like you see in the character of Sudama Vipra? So much renunciation. Of course, this renunciation is simply a side effect of his devotion. But Sukadeva Goswami, because Sukadeva Goswami also renunciated. but he too much respects Sukadeva. You see, he not mentioned his name. Too much respect in Bhagavatam. Who else could be like who did Krishna test anyone like he tested Sudama Vipra? So much he would test, but Sudama never asked for anything. Therefore, he completely captured Krishna. Okay, anything else? Hare Krishna. ठीक है, जय जय श्री राधे. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radha Govinda Gauriya Mat ki jai, jai jai Sri Ram.